An anti-abortion billboard is shocking a lot of people in New York City. It's pretty hard to do in New York, but its creators say that is exactly the point. Here it is. It shows the image of a young girl with the words, "The most dangerous place for an African American is in the womb." Critics say it's racist, it's sexist, generally offensive, but the group behind the billboard says the message happens to be true. Let's bring in Senior Pastor Stephen Broden, who's a board member of Life Always, and with us, journalist and publisher Karen Hunter. Pastor, let me start with you. Can you understand why some people say this ad offends communities of color?
I do understand that it is a provocative message, but it is a message that's sourced in fact. It is not hyperbole. It is a truth that needs to be confronted.
What are the facts you're trying to get out there,
Pastor? Talked about in our community. I'm sorry?
What are the facts you're trying to get out there?
That there is a kind of depopulation that is going on in our community as a result of abortion, that we need to stop and talk about what we're doing as a result of this practice in our community. And the effect is such that we are seeing abortions are outstripping, in some cases, in New York in particular, that there are more abortions that are taking place than live births. So we need to stop as a community and talk about it.
And Karen, Life Always also says that African Americans represent 13% of the population, but 36% of abortions. There's two questions here, I think, really. One is, are you pro-life, are you pro-choice? And that's a different debate. But do you think that this is racist? Is it sexist? Is it offensive?
It's definitely racial. It's definitely sexist, and it's completely offensive. The statistics notwithstanding, and they're correct, and I can't argue with the pastor. Are you really a pastor? We'll talk about that later. But, I can't argue with him over the numbers. But the reality is, Chris, what's his point? And who's he servicing? And what is he really trying to get out there? I'm completely appalled at someone who would call himself a man of the cloth using these tactics. I mean, if you're really a follower of Jesus, I will take you to the woman at the well. I will take you to the woman about to be stoned. Jesus did not treat those people that way. And I think that he's criminalizing folks who are making a choice that is not easy. And I'm sick and tired of men, and I'm sick and tired of people using race baiting as a means to try to get a message out there. If we need to have a discussion, let's have a discussion. Let's have a discussion that leads to healing, that leads to some solutions. This is not what you're doing. You're riling people up and you're making people angry. For what cause?
Pastor, I need to let you answer that. Those are some pretty serious questions that she's raising there.
First of all, I am a pastor, and second of all, I believe that there's a conversation that needs to take place that hasn't taken place in our community. There's been sort of a monolithic monotone that's coming from the other side, that is Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry, that, by the way, has a vested interest in pushing abortion because they make money off of it as a personal gain. But there has not been a conversation in our community about this. And I think this billboard is an opportunity for us to talk about some horrific facts that are connected with the practice of abortion. That conversation hasn't taken place. I think the line has indeed been crossed when we're seeing that the effect of abortion in our community is not only depopulating our community and threatening our future, but is also having a deleterious impact on the mental health of black women and the physiological health of black women.
But we're not having that discussion. We're talking about your billboard. We're talking more importantly about you. We're not having the discussion that we need to have.
Excuse me, I'm not finished. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I didn't cut you off, and I pray that you wouldn't do that to me.
Well, I don't want to interrupt you, Pastor, but you brought up the Planned Parenthood, and I do want to read their statement, and then I'll let you respond to it, Pastor, since you brought them up.
Okay.
They say, these billboards are offensive and disturbing. The creators are using divisive messaging around race to restrict access to medical care. Their concern is that by demonizing these women who use these services, it may in fact keep away women who use a whole range of services that are provided by places like Planned Parenthood. What would you say to that?
I think that they are having a misinformation that they're placing out there. We're not trying to demonize women. We're trying to bring to bear in this conversation that the impact of abortion is depopulating our community, that the numbers are going down. We're seeing almost 1,400 black abortions every day. At the end of the day, when the sun goes down, 1,452 black babies are being snatched from their mother's womb. We've got to have a conversation about this.
Women are
it's
making
having
choices.
an adverse impact on our community. And the choice need to be made with this kind of statistical evidence. And that's what we're saying. We need to have a conversation.
Chris is
And
discussing.
this
There's always a
billboard
man
is designed
making
to
these
provoke
claims. There's always a man who has no personal stake, who's never going to be in an abortion clinic making this very tough decision.
We got to leave it there.
That's
Karen
a good question.
Hunter?
I'm glad you're asking that question.
No, we didn't ask
I'm glad
a
you're
question.
asking that question.
I didn't ask a question.
Your statement. Well, your statement it has to be responded to, and I'm responding to it this way. I'm a part of the black community. I'm interested in the life and health of the black community, and I have a voice to say something about it.
Okay.
The
Pastor,
decision to
Pastor,
exercise abortion in our community.
We are out of
All
time,
right.
but I do appreciate both of you having this very provocative
Thank you for having me. I
discussion.
appreciate being a part of this discussion, and thank you very much.
Karen, Pastor Stephen Broden, thank you.